Hello and welcome to the DigiTree Academy's live stream podcast. Welcome to our Academy podcast today, where we have a very special guest with us, Karen Fomafung. I want to walk you through a little bit of her experience and her background before we bring her in. She's waiting for us and talking to us about power of passive income and how we can help you, IT professionals, really give you a guideline today during our conversations of you being able to productize your expertise and start your IT coaching and consulting businesses. Again, our mission here at the Academy is to give you guys all the tools, resources, and support you guys need to get your businesses off the ground, productize your expertise, and launch your products profitably. So again, Karen Fomafung is going to be our guest today. A little bit about her background. She is a dynamic agile coach with over 11 years of experience. She is highly proficient in leveraging agile frameworks to align with business initiatives. She consistently delivers quantifiable and sustainable results to her clients. She played a key role in helping Salesforce to scale their digital capabilities by 40% in 5 months. Her strategic involvement led to a 55% increase in value delivery to customers, as well as she started a YouTube channel where she amassed over 21,000 subscribers with her value-driven content regarding agile coaching and mentoring. And as well as she's trained and certified over 1,000 Scrum Masters, mentored over 5,000 professionals, and helped over 1,500 people land their tech jobs. And yeah, guys, I can keep on going. So before further ado, I'm going to welcome our guest, Karen Fomafung, to the show. Karen, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much, Nabil, and thanks so much for having me. I'm doing amazing. And how about you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much. Today, we really want to, focus on power of passive income and try and provide a little guidance to IT professionals that are Scrum Masters, Agile coaches that have been working in IT jobs for the last 5-10 years and that are now looking to start their businesses. So our focus is really going to be to provide them with some guidelines and a step-by-step process through this conversation to help them out. So to begin the conversation, I would like to focus on your background, how you started to build your passive income streams at BeingAgile Consulting while working, a full-time job. Because again, the focus is on being able to build passive income streams beyond our 9 to 5s. So give us a little bit of background into that, Karen. How you got started, what was your point, and provide a little insight into our viewers into your starting journey.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I first want to establish that I'm an immigrant. I like to say that because I'm so passionate about helping immigrants, move up the ladder in this space. So when I moved over here, I started off as a nursing assistant. So I was actually in the healthcare. But one thing I knew for sure was that that wasn't something I was passionate about. And I love to go with passion. That's really where I expose or explore my full potential. So given that I found myself in a community where everyone was in the healthcare space, where I come from, that's what we believe, that here the only way you can succeed is if you are in the healthcare space. But it wasn't something I could really connect with naturally. But they made me believe that I don't have any other choice. So I thought I really didn't have any other choice. So I decided to start this career as a nurse, starting off as a nursing assistant. And the way it all played out, I believe it was destiny. I found myself in a medical, in a hospital, working in a trauma unit. I'm a highly emotional person. I love helping people, but at the same time, I'm so emotional. So I couldn't take all the traumatizing situations I witnessed in that hospital, all the gunshot wounds, all of the very, very terrible cases, they would be in that hospital. So I would cry my eyes out, traumatize the patients. I'm always traumatizing people when I come back home. So right there, I knew that this wasn't the right career for me. I'd already enrolled in a nursing school, so I didn't pursue that career as a nurse. I had to quit that job without a plan B. Just within that week, I connected with a friend that was already in a corporate space. So, we were in church and he asked me what I was doing. I shared a little bit about myself and he knew me way back and he thought I would be a perfect fit in this space, starting off as a project coordinator. So right there and there, he started mentoring me. And that's how I landed my first role as a project coordinator. While doing my job as a project coordinator, I was promoted to becoming a project manager. That was in a utility industry. And my manager at that time, who was an awesome person, they decided to transition into Agile. So I was so fortunate enough, he thought that I would be a perfect fit to be one of the super users. And that's how he tapped me on the shoulder and asked me if I was interested in being part of the launch and learn training that was supposed to go on in the organization. I'm like, why not? If you believe that I can do it, then why not? So that's how I went to the training, and everything I heard in that training aligned with my natural personality. I was already struggling as a project manager in the sense that, the way project management is structured, you are supposed to delegate work to people. You're supposed to command, control. That's just a mindset. I'm not built naturally to do that. So when I learned about Agile, the way of working, the mindset, it aligned with my natural personality. I was so passionate about it. And because I'm that kind of person that loves to really be good at what I do, I decided to learn more. I went back to school. I already had a master's in waterfall project management. So I decided to go back to school. I did another master's in Agile project management. I took certification programs. I joined communities of practice. And that's how my career started. And the projects that we were working on at that time, I decided to scrum the project. We failed woefully, but it was a great lesson learned. And ever since then, I've never looked back in this space. So what I do in a nutshell is I'm so passionate about helping organizations, helping teams, helping individuals, to succeed with Agile. So that's just a little bit about me.
That's awesome. I mean, that's such an awesome background. At what point, Karen, did you think that, all right, you started your career, you got into, your first tech job? At what point did you decide that, hey, now I have, this expertise where I've mastered and now I'm ready to teach other people? What was that point, and when did it happen in your career after you landed your first job? How long did it took you to build that expertise? Because again, IT professionals to understand a little bit what it takes, to really build that expertise before they go out and really start to coach and mentor, other people. So, a little bit about that. What's your thought process on that?
All right, that's a good question. So, first of all, I am one of the staunch believers of this statement that the easiest way to learn is to teach. So throughout my life growing up, I've always found myself in that position where people would come to me for different reasons, for their different challenges, and I always help them out. Even in my family, people always come to me for different things, and I always partner with them to figure it out. So while I was doing this job as a Scrum Master, and the way Scrum, the Agile way of working is designed, teaching is a big part of the stances, or what I call the competencies of an Agile practitioner. That's just part of the job. So while I was doing this, I knew that I could feel it, that there must be so many other people that had passed through what I went through, doing what they really didn't like, especially in this health space. And they want to do something, they should be good at something else, but they didn't know how to go about it. So when I go to church, I'm in the process of having conversations. If I see that anyone is interested, I will share the little I know with them. People would come to my house, ask me, and if they are looking to get into this space, I just give my knowledge like that. I'm not charging anything. I was just so passionate about sharing, because to me, sharing is a very big way how I learn and improve and keep my own learning alive. So I was doing it for them and for me. So how I got to, making this a business, that's just really how it happened. So I became overwhelmed because I had a lot of people coming to my house. After church, I'm not able to go home because so many people want to talk to me, because they've seen others winning in this space like I was doing. So they wanted to talk to me. I wanted to help these people, but I didn't have the capacity to do so. So I thought, okay, how am I able to reach so many people and still share this information with them without me being so overwhelmed? And that's how I decided to pick my camera and go on YouTube. I went on YouTube, very nervous, not knowing the impression people would have, but I decided to put it out anyway. When I
Yeah.
put out the video, the first video I put out, I think it was on a challenge that I faced while I was in the Scrum space, really
Yeah.
looking to figure out how this thing works. But there was no one to talk to, no one that can really relate with what I was going through. So when I went through that, that was the first video I put out. And the response to that video was amazing. And that's how I learned that there must be so many other people out there that are looking to just get out of this situation where they find and be better. And that's how people started coming to me. I was still doing it for free like that.
Yeah.
But again, if you know that if something is really valuable, there is no way it could be free.
Yeah.
So I decided to repackage it, brand it, and all of that. And that's how it became a business. But I never ever sat one day and said, okay, I want to start a coaching business. It never happened like that.
Wow. So your story just kind of went in from you being so passionate about it and people actually putting so much goodwill out there,
Yeah.
essentially trying to tell people about what you do, and
Mhm.
them and those people realizing the successes and again coming back to you in return. um, it just shows you the power of goodwill, the amount of value you put out, I'm sure, on YouTube, and the amount of value people get from there still drives, I'm sure, so many conversions for your business, because you're doing that goodwill, you're providing information to people so they can get the right information to get going. So I love that. I love that it's really about providing value, and it'll
Mhm.
come back to you. So that's amazing. But like, so at which point did you see, like, year wise? I'm trying to draw a timeline for IT viewers that are watching us, that maybe a couple of years doing this job, 2 years doing this job, 3 years doing this job. What do you suggest that for them to, work in that particular space for 5 years, 10 years, and then maybe look to, productize their expertise? What
Well,
timeline would you give them?
I think that's a really good question. First of all, I want to say this. For me, I where I've seen people really succeed in this path is if you are seeking to put value out there, if you're seeking to deliver value. Those that have come into this space seeking to, really going after, I need to succeed in this business, hardly ever do they succeed. That's what I've seen. So when it comes to timeline, like I said, from day one as a scrum master, I was already teaching. I was already putting my knowledge out there like that from day one. And then by the time I decided to, productize the whole thing, I had already helped approximately 27 people land jobs before I decided to productize it. And that was about 1 year, no, that was about 1 year into my journey as a scrum master. I had helped 27 people. So
Wow.
I continued to do this offline, like almost 6 years into the journey. I started, packaging this and selling to people. And then when I decided to start recording this thing on camera and all of that, I was approximately, I would say, 8 years into my journey. So with all of that, I think the point I'm trying to make is that what I would recommend to people that are looking to get into this space, they should seek first to give value. What is the value that I'm looking to give? What is the solution that I'm looking to bring? Until you're able to identify that solution that you're looking to bring, then you can start thinking of productizing it. And productizing, I don't think that's a problem at all. That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Instead, the thing that you should be more focused on, because selling is one thing, but buying is another thing. Not just buying, sustaining the market is a whole other thing. But if you're not delivering any value, you're not bringing any solution. I mean, you can just have one or two customers, and that may be just your family members and friends, and that will be it. But if you want to sustain it, first seek to add that value, and then next you can move to productizing it. So I don't think I'll be setting any timeline that when you're 1 day or 2 days into it, you can start productizing it. I don't think that'll be helpful.
Okay. No, absolutely. So like I know we talked about unique because you're essentially talking about unique selling proposition, right? Of the person
Mhm,
that they want to bring to the table, to the market that they can solve. So how does
mhm,
one really figure out, right? Let's say somebody within a Scrum Master space working in a particular environment. What factors would they be looking at in trying to figure out that, hey, this could be my unique selling proposition? Because again, as you said, that's the hardest part, right? And people really need to
mhm,
figure out, hey, this is what I'm good at. I'm an expert
mhm,
in this, and I can really bring this solution to the market that a lot of people might be facing.
mhm,
So, how does one figure out that unique value proposition, especially within your space, in the agile space? Um, since I know you probably went through your teaching experience, figured out, hey, this is what I love doing,
mhm,
right? So, is that relating to what they're doing currently in their jobs, really, or like what should they be looking at? I guess is my question when trying to really figure out, hey, this is my unique selling proposition
mhm.
within the IT space and within the agile space.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's a good question. Yeah. So I'm just gonna share my own personal experience.
Yeah.
To me, naturally, I love helping people. I
Yeah.
love, adding value to people's life. That comes to me naturally. Remember, I said that throughout my life growing up, I've always found my position where me for different issues. People always come to confide in me I think so many people see me as their friends, even though I don't know if I have that many friends, but so many people trust me as their friends. So they'll come to me for different reasons. So,
Yeah.
helping people came naturally to me, you see. So, it was easy for me to be able to understand what I was already naturally passionate about. So, I naturally leaned towards that direction thanks to Agile, because the way Agile is structured, there is no way that you will sustain in the agile space if you are not passionate about what you do. It's just going to be a short-term thing because you deal with people every day. You deal with different personalities every day, different emotions and all of that. So for you to be able to help these people, without getting so frustrated with dealing with all these multiple personalities, you have to be passionate about it. So, what I do right now, it came to me naturally. But for those that may not have been there yet, they're still struggling to figure it out, and which is something I've helped so many people accomplish.
Yeah.
Look at those that are already doing better than you. It mustn't only be agile, it may be other things in the IT space. This space is big. Look for those that are already doing better than you in the IT space. Follow them. And when I say follow them, I don't mean follow them around, connect with them. You'll be surprised how willing people are to talk to you, to share their experiences. Once you're able to identify someone that is already doing better than you, having these career conversations, I am sure from there, just having these conversations, like I would say, estimate having 10 conversations with 10 different people. With that, you should be able to identify something to focus on. And I would say that also lean towards what you think comes naturally to you. I'm very keen on that because for you to sustain this thing and not take it as a job, but see it as work, there is a difference between a job and a work. You have to love it. You have to love what you do. So look for something that will come to you naturally. Identify someone that is already doing it better than you or doing it well in this space. Connect with them. If you need to get on an intense mentorship program, I am a big advocate for mentorship because it works. I have seen it work. So connect with them and get their guidance towards you achieving that thing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a big, um, you know, coaching and mentoring can save us from getting into pitfalls, right? That
Mhm.
people tend to get into
Exactly.
once they're kind of doing it on their own. And having a
Exactly.
coach and a mentor that can guide them through those pitfalls, it's invaluable because I myself have been through that experience of having a coach and a mentor and kind of walking through the process and saving you that time initially that you would have spent years on building, right? Um,
Mhm.
so again, coaching and mentoring and finding somebody who, as you said, is ahead of where you want to be, and really trying to learn from them, and being creative with it as well, and bringing your own flavor
Yeah.
to the creativity, because
Mhm.
again, it's about our own stories. Our brand reflects what we've been through, the problems we face, the challenges we face. So when it comes to brand, when I look at Being Agile Consulting, that's what I love about your brand, because it's real. You talk about your brand, you talk about it in a real way, and your story. And I hope people get a lot of value from that, in a sense that when they go to build their own coaching and consulting businesses, they see that it requires telling a story
Mhm.
from what you've been through and your experiences, and that really resonates with people a lot more. So I love that, and yeah, that's amazing. So let's talk about some passive income options for IT professionals.
Mhm.
Karen, I know some people can productize their expertise, launch course content. There's softwares out there where they could do affiliate marketing. We have an affiliate partner program at the DigiTree. So are there any other options besides content creation, affiliate marketing within the IT space for them to start building passive income outside their 9 to 5? Because again, it requires a certain level of discipline even outside your 9 to 5 to put in every day 2 hours, 3 hours to your business outside of work. So what are some options for them that they can do? What like coaching? I know they can do like online products, digital products. Are there any other options that they can do?
Well, yeah. So what I would say, at the end of the day, whatever they choose to do, revolve around the key things that you've mentioned. So what I can say is that first of all, they should look into all of these other options, and the options that I'll be mentioning. Agile is my own niche. Agile is my domain. But within this IT space, we have a lot going on. You can focus on testing. If testing is something you're already good at, focus on testing. You can mentor people on testing. You can coach people in the testing space. You can actually write ebooks. That's also something that I have seen a lot of people do, and they're really making money from it. And they're also really giving value through these ebooks. Another big one is DevOps engineering. I've seen
Yeah,
people also, coming from different backgrounds, and they heard about DevOps engineering. They identified a mentor and a coach, work with this person, and within 6 months, they're able to land, a great opportunity. And one thing that I've also seen many people do is they don't only go with one job. So instead of picking a full-time permanent role, really depending on your priority, they pick like 3 consulting jobs. That's another thing I've seen people do. They pick 3 consulting jobs. With that, they're able to manage their time how they deem fit, instead of focusing on one permanent role or full-time job that again will not allow you to be able to do all these other things. And then one other thing that I've seen really helps, and I use that service a lot, and I hope people will, pick that from here today, is freelancing.
yeah,
There are many platforms that you can leverage as a freelancer. Maybe you don't have that skills to draw clients to yourself. You don't have that skills to pick up camera, which you can build any skill. That's what I believe, and
yeah,
put yourself out there. Just go to these different platforms. A typical example would be Fiverr.
yeah.
Just go there, give a summary of what you do, and put it there. There are so many people that are always needing those services. They'll connect with you, and that's how you make your money. Yeah, so I can, like, just to summarize, freelancing, and then look into these different um, um, products in the IT space. Typical example would be, I've mentioned DevOps engineering, testing, business analyst, systems analyst, all of that. It's huge. Just focus on one, and then you grow from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like it's really about, once you start exploring the opportunities, right? You see what's out there and what you can really accomplish with so many different types of, programs to create passive income.
Mhm.
You mentioned, them being able to either create ebooks and being on platforms such as Fiverr or Upwork, and then being able to serve, individuals on a freelance level and still make a
Mhm.
difference.
Mhm.
But it still requires a certain level of upskilling, right? Like it
Yeah,
requires
true.
them getting and gaining skills from a consistent perspective. I know, like within the next 5 years, the entire landscape for how the corporations will be run, how businesses will be totally different, right? Because AI will be
Yeah.
involved with a lot of it. And I know through some different types of upskilling are other ways where they can make passive income. Prompt engineering, for example, right, is an up and coming skill where you can learn it and really learn how to prompt the machine learning and create models, and it really allows you to then work in any type of space. So in regarding to that, do you like what do you suggest IT people, like how should they navigate through this process, right? Because we're in a very balanced or unbalanced type of a situation where we're not really sure how this AI boom is going to turn out in the next 5 years, even though we have a good forecasted idea. But what do you suggest? Like, how should they navigate through this process?
I really like that question. So there is something that Bill Gates said, which is something I've picked up and I'm running with it, and it has worked for me. He said that if we cannot scale it, we are not getting into it. So
Yeah,
if they are doing any business, they have to be sure that it's scalable. If it's not scalable, they're not getting into that business. So what
right.
I want to say to people is that the mistake that most of us make is that we focus on trying to build product instead of building system. That's what you should be doing. Focus on building a system instead of building a product. And I know DigiTree, that's what you do. You help people, design a pipeline for their business to be successful long term. That's what you do, right? I know you're very good at
Yeah,
doing that. So that is what I would urge, this new business people coming into this space to focus on. Don't just focus on creating this product. The next time you're thinking about it, the other product and all of that. So how are you going to sustain the business? How are you going to scale without feeling burnt out and all of that? That is the secret for me. Focus on building a pipeline or a system, not a product.
yeah, absolutely. This the system is will essentially, will give you, um, you know, essentially a way to provide value to your clients while nurturing
Mhm.
them, over the long term. And essentially, as long as you're providing value, when that person's ready, they will convert. And it's again
Yeah.
about giving the value that, um, that they will use essentially, because mostly they can get a lot of value from a lot of sources, but it's how you can persuade them into really uh, feeling that, hey, I can achieve this. It's about motivation and mindset and
Yeah.
helping them through that block,
Hmm.
right? Because it's a mindset block. 90% of
Hmm.
the time, the people that I talk to, mostly they're not taking action because of that block. It's not because they lack some type of expertise or some type of a skill.
Very
It's
true.
just that
Very true.
it's just a block,
Very
mental
true.
block. So what do
Very
you
true. I
suggest?
totally agree with you.
Yeah, what do you suggest, Karen, to those types of people that are there, like they possess the skills, they possess the knowledge, but they still have that mental block where they're like, man, I'm
Yeah.
still missing something. Maybe. What do you suggest to them? Do you suggest to them, hey, take action and start as soon as you can, or like what should they be doing?
Okay. So one thing that I usually tell my mentees is that no one is coming into your head to know what you know, to
Yeah,
figure out what you know. Nobody is gonna come into your head or use some X-ray to figure out what you know. So
yeah,
it all starts from the mindset, and your biggest impediment is you. If you don't believe in you first, no one will. And then there is a common thing that I always say, people buy what you sell. If you sell lack of confidence, if you sell I'm not sure, if you sell I'm so nervous, that's what people will buy.
yeah,
But if you go out there and even if you truly don't feel that way, but what you put out there is I'm confident, I can do this, I am open and willing to learn, be authentic like that, that is what people will buy. So my suggestion to people is that just get started. You don't have to be perfect, because there is nothing on earth that's perfect. It doesn't exist. You're only
yeah,
seeking to make progress. But how would you be able to make progress if you're not starting? Just go ahead and start today. Not tomorrow. Stop procrastinating today. After this meeting, this session today, just go ahead and get started. You mustn't get started with, okay, I have to start a business today. You can get started with something as little as sending a text message to someone that you know may be able to give you some valuable information. Send an email. That's a starting point, and then you pick it up from there. And also, while you are at it, be open and willing to learn. Be humble. The key is continuous learning and continuous improvement. Humble yourself.
Yeah.
Remove that mindset of, okay, because one of the other biggest problem I've seen in this space is so many people come with the mindset of, okay, I'm already this big, I have this so many certifications, I have all these bachelor's degrees, I already have all these PhD degrees, so I already know enough. They fail. People like that always easily fail. They come with that arrogance and pride. So it's difficult for them to unlearn and relearn. So my suggestion would be just put all of the titles at the door, and then you get in with a fresh new head to unlearn, ready to unlearn and relearn and pick it up from there. But the key is stop procrastinating. Procrastination is your biggest enemy. Just get started today.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know why people don't understand that time is their number one asset, right? I mean, people understand it, but they still don't use it to their advantage. And we only have 168 hours in a week, right?
Yeah.
And knowing each and every hour what you're going to be doing, right, can really lead you to that process, right? Of being able to
Mhm.
plan that, hey, I'm going to go every hour, and plan my day, plan my weeks, plan my months, and hold myself accountable to, start. But, time when people procrastinate, it kind of, bugs me because I'm like, man, time's our number one asset. We're not sure we're going to be
Yeah.
here tomorrow. Yep, right. So why waste it? Use your time wisely, put it towards the time things you want to build, because whatever you want to build, the dream you want to build is going to require time. And if you're not putting time
Yeah.
towards it, you're not going to build it.
Yeah. So just to add to your point, one thing I usually tell my mentors is that if it is risky to get started, but it's even riskier to not do anything. Because if you don't take any action because you are afraid to make mistakes, you're afraid to take these risks, you don't take any action in the next 5 years, you will still be on the same spot. You will not achieve the goal just because you were afraid to make the mistake. You would be on the same spot, and that's even worse. It's better you take that action and fail. I don't even call it failing, because it's two things will happen.
Yeah.
It's either you learn something from it or you
Or you
win.
win. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
not
I
nothing
love
else
that.
will happen.
Yeah.
But if you don't take any action at all, it's very clear that nothing will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. If you quit, that's the best way to fail, right? I mean, there is no failure if you keep trying. You either
Yeah,
learn or
the
you win,
easiest
as
way
you
to
said.
fail is to not do nothing. That's the
Yeah.
easiest way.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. It's, I hope people get, that mindset from this conversation and they understand what we're talking about. If you guys have any questions, I'm seeing some comments come through in the section. If you guys have questions, guys, feel free to drop them. We will be going through a question answer session with Karen. I'm going to bring up some comments here as we kind of walk through this. Karen, I think there's one of your followers. You just love her. Somebody also said growth mindset. Um, they brought in a couple options: bot trading, investments for passive income. Um, another comment for you, Karen. I'm always proud of my coach, Karen. So we got some comments coming in, guys. Great engagement. Any questions we have, guys, drop them in the comments. We're having an amazing conversation with Karen, and discussing passive income stream options and what you guys can do as IT professionals that are looking to start their IT coaching and consulting businesses or productizing their expertise. So I wanna next get into Karen. Some challenges, right? Let's get into some challenges. Recently, let's talk, because I know, like, let's go from your most recent challenges and work our way back, maybe a little bit, 2 years from now or a couple of years back from now. So, what are some of your most recent challenges in business that you're facing at BeingAgile Consulting? Um,
Thank you very
So just so
much.
people understand, like at that level, what it's like.
Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, I think like I have already told you the story how I got into this medical field, and because I'm very emotional, I couldn't do it. So, I think the way I am, I connect emotions, a lot of emotions to what I do as a job. And the biggest challenge I have faced is that some people take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Some people take advantage of that. And then when they, like clients, when they get into the program, they get into the program with the wrong mindset. They're thinking that, okay, I would get in here and then the result will just be handed to me.
Yeah.
That's not the case. And then because I'm so emotional, I connect my win to the wins of my clients. That's really the only way I see I'm able to measure my successes. If my clients are achieving their goals, that's really the only way I see it. So when they come into the program and then into my program, and then they come in with the wrong mindset, and then they think that the solution will just be handed over to them instead of them walking their way to the solution, and then they don't achieve the result, people with that kind of mindset, it really beats me down, and then I'll find myself babysitting them, chasing them every day, texting them that, okay, you need to put in the work, you need to do this, you need to do that. But it's all because they came into the space, first of all, with the wrong mindset. It all starts from the mindset. Nobody's handing it over to you. It's a partnership thing. You need to give your own, do your own piece, and then being agile will do their own piece, even 300%. I think that's the first challenge I have faced. And how I'm still dealing with that somehow, but at least it's better. How I've been able to overcome that is I'm trying to separate emotions from business. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not there yet, but I'm still working on that. That's one thing I have faced. And then the other key challenge that I've faced is, first of all, like I said before, it's to me, going out there to chase customers is not something I do like that, because thankfully, the way being agile started, we didn't start like, okay, we want to create a business. It didn't start like that. We're just passionate to helping people, and then people started connecting, reaching out to us, and that became a challenge on its own, because the number of people that would reach out by email, LinkedIn, I became so burnt out trying to help all those people. I couldn't sleep at night. I get panic attacks thinking about all these emails and all these LinkedIn messages that I'm not able to catch up with. And then they cannot understand. They're just thinking you don't want to respond to them, but they don't understand they are not the only one reaching out to you. So that's another challenge that I have faced. But how I've been able to, deal with that is, okay, I had to set boundaries. I had to set boundaries because I cannot give what I don't have. For me to better help people, I need to be okay before I can help people. So I set boundaries. I'm like, okay, at this time, no calls, no texts, no none of that. And then another thing that I did was I got help. I had to hire people to help out with all the emails, all the support work. One of the other challenges that I face, which I think is the most critical, is that it is very difficult to get someone that can connect to your vision.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you are sourcing for skills to help out, they come in with the mindset of, okay, this is a job. I'm just coming to do a job. But to me, it's not a job. To me, this is bigger than just a job. You're changing people's lives, and the way you go about it is either you're making them or you're breaking them. So it's difficult to find people that can really connect to your vision and really put in their heart into this. But the good thing is that the few people that I've been able to work with, once they come in with that mindset of, okay, I'm just going to work. And then when they come in, they see the passion that I'm rolling with. They have no other choice but to connect into that passion. And that's how, thankfully, I've been able to work with the same people like for forever throughout, us doing this business. So those are some of the common challenges I faced in this space.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, team building from my personal experience, it's tough, and sourcing talent and getting, people that will understand the vision of your brand and your business. it's critical to the success, right? And from my experience, what I've seen is that it's very hard to find those kinds of people. And it's, in my experience, it's been better to bring in entry level people and train them
Mhm.
to that expectations that you want them to hit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because then they're a clean slate. When you're
Mhm.
bringing experienced people that you're not sure are going to first understand your vision, second,
Mhm.
you're not sure if they're going to be geared towards, what you're trying to build, even though they could
Mhm.
have past experiences. Especially from the sales side of things, when I look to bring on a sales closer for a client or for myself for the business, it's really about, making sure that, hey, this person's going to understand the process, and training them to be able
Mhm.
to hit those certain level of KPIs and understand that, hey, this is the vision of the company. And it's a hard process. It's a hard process, especially for, businesses, especially like mine. I've been in business for 3 years, and now I'm like trying to grow a team and trying to, scale. So not easy. And
No,
I'm
not
sure
at
you've been
all.
through that process, and even where you are, you're looking
Yeah.
to scale your team further, I'm sure, right? Because your next
Yeah.
goal
Mhm.
is, to double whatever you're doing in your business,
Mhm.
and for that we
Yeah.
require people.
Yeah.
Without people, we can't
Exactly.
really build businesses,
Yeah.
right? So that's awesome. So we covered some challenges there. Let's transition into, um, getting. I want to actually open the floor in a little bit for some questions. We're already 40 minutes in, so guys, if we have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. We will bring them up for Karen, and she will answer some questions for you guys that are looking to start your businesses. If you guys have, questions regarding specific questions of what you guys, can do, feel free to put them in, and we will, bring those questions up shortly. Next, I mean, let's talk about time management and setting, realistic goals when they go to actually do this, right? When they go to
Mhm.
productize their expertise, and we talked about time and being able to understand that we need to, plan our time accordingly, or weeks, or months, or years ahead if we can. So, what kind of a process can they go through to set realistic goals for themselves, and manage their time better while working in their 9 to 5 job, to
Mhm.
set this, up for them? Like, what kind of time do you think it will require for them? 2 hours per day, 3 hours per day, and some tips regarding that.
Okay. So what I want to say is, first of all, I'm going to address this from two fronts. You, I believe in being good at what you do. At the job that you've decided to do, the 9 to 5, just because you are doing a business, that job doesn't have to suffer because they're
Yeah.
paying you. So you have to be able to deliver. If not, then you're just stealing from those people. And that's what I don't want nobody to do.
Yeah.
You see. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what I typically do, and I even made a video on this, is every year, the start of the year, I will come up with something I call the vision board. I create a vision board where I planned all of my priorities or the things that I hope to accomplish for that year. I'm not trying to figure out how I want to do that. No, because if you want to think about that, you will get overwhelmed. And once you get overwhelmed, you can quit even before getting started. So I only focus on, okay, what are my desires for this year? And when I'm putting down my desires, I'm putting down my desires from a family perspective, because that's a big part of this whole thing. From a family perspective, from my 9 to 5 job perspective, I want to, I need to stand out at my job. I just don't want to be basic. So I also carve out what I hope to accomplish in my 9 to 5 job, adding value to the organization. And then from a business perspective, what do I want to accomplish? How many students do I want to help, land jobs this year? How many students do I want to help gain certifications this year? How many products or how many solutions do I want to bring this year? Looking at the different gaps that clients will communicate all the time. How many more solutions do I want to bring? So I put all of that right from the beginning of the year using the tool that I call the vision board. So please, if you are not familiar with that, you can go on my YouTube channel You will be able to watch that video from there. It's powerful. So once you're able to put that down, write it out down so that it's clear, it's visible. Don't just leave it lingering in your head, because that's already a recipe for disaster. That is the start for me. And then on a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't ever start a day without a little plan. Just like I cannot show you right now, I have my Kanban board hanging on my wall here. That's where I draw my daily plan. So first of all, every week I have a 1 week sprint. That's what, like 1 week plan. Let me simplify it that way. I come up with my plan for that week. And then on a day-to-day basis, I identify the tasks that I hope to accomplish for that week. The time that I want to attend to my job, during that time, no interruptions, no business, no nothing. My 9 to 5 is my 9 to 5. I focus on the job and that's it. And then after that, okay, we can talk about being agile. Being agile have its own business hours, which is in the evenings, and I also have boundaries that I've set around that time. Before, it wasn't like that. You would have people that will call you at 2 a.m. in the night. They call you at 2 a.m. So I was able to set boundaries, before that really helped. So I would do being agile until like 8 p.m. And then after that, off time is family and nothing else. During weekends, no business, just family and nothing else. So that is how I've been able to manage my time, by being intentional and being very conscious on setting boundaries, writing out my goals very clear, and not just assuming or leaving things lingering in my head. So that's how I'm able to manage my time.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, like I follow a similar process of creating a weekly list, and essentially that list is what I go through, and I prioritize it based on, like the amount of value it adds to the business dollar wise, right? So like, how do you prioritize? Let's say you have your list for the week you want to go through. What is your thought process in your mind that, hey, which one am I going to attack first on your list? And what, kind of goes through your head when you're thinking, hey, which is my top priority right now? Is it what impacts your business in the dollar amount the most? Or is it really providing value to a client? Or like, what's the balance there?
Okay, that's a very good question. The reason why I love this conversation we are having is that almost everything you're asking just relates with Agile, and which is why Agile is beautiful. Everybody needs it, including you, Nabil. So I hope you'll be reaching out to us to help your organization transition into Agile, really. Yeah, so when it comes to prioritization, in Agile, I just use the Agile concept. It's that simple. So we have different prioritization techniques in Agile. And the one that I love the most is what I call the return on investment, the RIO. So I look at, okay, what will be the return on my investment on these tasks? And when I'm talking about investment, it's not only about money. That's not the point. It may be your time investment, your emotional investment, all of that. So that is what I am thinking. That's just one prioritization technique that I like to leverage. So once I put that in front, my prioritization falls in place very easily.
Yeah, but like, how do you? So, because sometimes you get caught up in financial side of the business or the fulfillment side, right? Because one can probably give you a lot of fulfillment. You're like, hey, I love recording videos, and like this is what I love to do. So even though it's going to add a lot of value, but the other side might require your time more, because it might impact the ROI, as you said, a little more of your time and your emotion and your investment in it. So like again, what's the difference between that, right? Like how can one figure that out again? Like to say that, hey, this is how I want to accomplish this task, and any other task maybe not relevant at that point, because it's giving them professional fulfillment, even though it's making an impact in the business. So what's more important? Is it the professional fulfillment that we're creating, or the financial impact, if we had a choice? Right.
Well, the thing is, I think my own situation is a little bit different, in the sense that in the first place, I didn't get into this business with the mind of, okay, I want to make the world money. That wasn't my reason that I got into this space in the first place, which is why sometimes just talking with my partners, they're like, Karen, you're just wasting all those resources and network you have. Because if I were in your position, I would be the richest person on earth. But you're not leveraging it, not because I don't like money. I do. I love money, but the way I'm wired to think, I just don't focus on money as the priority. I really just focus on adding value because I believe that you cannot chase success.
Yeah.
Once you focus on adding value, success will be automatic. You don't just chase success. So what I do is I prioritize adding value or the solution, and then money will just be natural. It will come to me. I don't go chasing money. You see, so that is why I cannot prioritize money when I'm trying to set my priorities straight. No, because I don't chase money. I prioritize giving value, and then the reward for that is success or money. And success can be in many different forms. It may be in the form of network, it may be in the form of money, it may be in the form of fulfillment, all of that. But what I prioritize is the solution or the value that I'm adding.
Value. Awesome. That's awesome. Cool. We got some questions in here for you, Karen. So I have the first one up for you here. What does the future of Scrum and Scrum training look like?
That's a very beautiful question. I think we just posted a video yesterday exposing the ugly sides of Scrum, of being a Scrum Master, which we don't like to talk about it, but I thought it was high time to talk about it.
Yeah.
So to speak around the future of Scrum, I would say that it's extremely promising. From statistics, 95% of organizations today are currently transitioning into Agile. Agile has been existing for over 30 years, but you'll be surprised on how many organizations are not there yet. And then the organizations that are already into it, you could clearly see the difference in the results that they're delivering to their customers. And then when other organizations see it that way, and because of competition and all of that, they want to get into it too. That may be one of the reasons, and then other reasons. So the future of Agile is promising. And I like to say that among this, only one role has been designed to help organizations successfully transition or adopt this Agile way of working, and which is the role of a Scrum Master. So I'm sure that already answers your question on the future of Scrum. The market, it will continue to boom for a very, very long time. So what I'm suggesting is, if you're rather in the traditional space, now is the time, not tomorrow, to get yourself out of that traditional space. It's great that you already have that understanding. When you transition into the Scrum space, which is the future, you will be a better leader, in the sense that you will be coming from a place of understanding of what the organization is going through. You will come from an empathetic place. But with Scrum Masters that have not had the opportunity to be in the traditional space, the challenge that we face is that they with lack of understanding, they don't apply empathy. They don't really acknowledge what these people are going through. They only come with their own knowledge on Scrum. They want to cut and paste, and that doesn't work like that. So yes, if you have been thinking of getting into the Agile space or Scrum space, now is the time. Now is the best time to do that, because the future is very promising.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a little statistics that I had checked out a couple of weeks back. I think this industry is supposed to be growing 30% year over year through 2030, 2031, which means we're going to need a lot of people, in the space, that are well trained and effective Scrum Masters, right? So how does one coach, right, train effective Scrum Masters, Karen? Because that's going to be such a critical piece to this entire growth, right? Or else the entire thing can fall if we're not providing effective Scrum Masters that can go out there and do the job with the right type of skill sets. So business-wise, how are we going to change, and how would we have to be agile? And while these newer businesses that are going to be starting their own thing, how do they align themselves with this growth and really being able to provide quality, effective Scrum Masters that are going to be successful in the industry?
I really love that question. So today I was going through LinkedIn, and then I saw a new forum that has been created. It's called Agile Coaches Alliance. And I decided to just rush through their vision, what they're trying to accomplish with this new page or this new group. And what I learned is that what they are trying to do is they are trying to be able to, they said, we have a lot of imposters in this space. And it's so true. We have so many people in this space carrying themselves as agile coaches, and then they are going into organizations or, taking vulnerable people's money, misleading them because they don't have the understanding, or they are not equipped with the skill set that is required for them to be effective. You see, so what I would suggest is that if you want to be successful in this space, make sure that you get a structured training. We all know that when it comes to agile, there's just too much information out there that you can get for free, actually. But is it the right information? How are you able to streamline what is good from the noise? So the appropriate way that I've seen is get a structured training from an accredited source or someone that you can trust, that you've seen their results. Get a training from there. Get mentoring is very important. Having that knowledge is one thing, but understanding the implementation is a whole other thing. And no better person can help you accomplish that than a mentor that has gone through this thing already, you see. So rather than putting yourself out there and claiming to be this thing that clearly you're not, just do it right. And to do it right, your foundation has to be solid. So get a structured, accredited training, go through the process so that you're sustaining your success and don't be among the people that are just messing up things for so many of us out there. So that would be my suggestion. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Really, invest in yourself. You will clearly get the return on investment as long as you're adding value.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so important to get, a coach and instructor that, again, has a track record and a proven track record of, delivering results. So, again, somebody like Karen, who's been, built this, BeingAgile consulting business, helped over 7,000 individuals. If you guys are watching us on this, I would recommend highly to check out her services. I'll drop a link in the comments below after the live podcast is done. That link will take you directly to her, products and her services, where you can inquire about it. And no better person in the industry than Karen to learn the Scrum, and Agile methodologies from. So highly recommended. Next question we have for you, Karen, is I'm bringing it up on your screen. It's a little long question, but we'll see. So he said, I want to launch my speaking business, an online course in information security, but I have a 9-to-5 job. Any advice?
Yes, I like that question, Melvi. So I think in that area, DigiTree, that's something you do, right? You help people package their products and put it out there. So there is no better platform to help you achieve that than partnering with people that clearly know what you're doing. Melvi, that's really what I can tell you. But if you want to do it on your own, it's still okay. One thing you should know is that for those that choose to do it on their own, something that if you work with a mentor or a coach or someone that has done this before, it may take you probably 1-2 months. But if you choose to do it on your own, it will take you approximately 2 years. And time is the most expensive thing on earth. You will never have that time back. So if you choose to do it on your own, know that that's what you're giving up. But if you choose to work with a mentor, this is the value you'll be getting, because you will skip over the many potholes that the mentor has already fallen into and was able to come out of it. So they will be helping you to jump over those potholes and not make the same mistakes.
Absolutely. And again, I've been through that with my coaches and mentors, and I'm sure you have, Karen. So this comes from experience of us building our businesses with the proper coaching and mentoring behind us. And, that's helped us in not making those mistakes. And, within our businesses, we look to do the same for you guys. So amazing question. I think another question we have coming up here. It's good. I like the engagement, guys. Keep the questions coming. Do you think AI will replace majority of the workforce in the IT industry? If so, what should we be thinking about, or what skills should we be gaining to help us stay valuable?
That's a
really you got for this, Karen?
That's a really great question. So, Andy, what I would say is a big no. First of all, think about it. Who came up with this AI? It's a human being, just like you and I. So there's just no way a machine or a system will ever be more than a human being. But the point is, you have to make sure that you are also upgrading your skills so that you remain relevant. What AI does is, AI is great. It helps you think faster, but it will never ever replace the human aspect or the human nature. We'll still need people to be able to use this AI if that's what we want to use. We need people to be able to use these tools, But at the same time, if you are not up to speed with these technologies by upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself so that you remain relevant, the competition out there is too much. So you would need to make sure you're also keeping yourself up to speed so that you will be among the people that are chosen to be able to help use these tools to be more efficient in the businesses. But AIs will never replace any business or any human being. So I don't think you would need to cover the second part of your question, because I think that to the answer for the first part of your question is no, I don't think AI would ever replace. AI only helps us be more efficient and think faster, but it cannot replace us.
Yeah, and in the research that I've done, right? I mean, from what I've seen and the trends, we're actually going to need a lot more people to command this technology, right? Because it will allow us to be more efficient, yes, which will give us the ability to grow our businesses faster, which will in turn, require us to hire skills that will be, used to, use this machine learning, as you mentioned, right? So we're going to need way more people than we realize to command this technology. And as long as we're upskilling and we're using different types of things that are coming up. I mean, one option I think I can bring up is, I mentioned earlier in the podcast, is prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is one of the biggest skills going around right now, Andy. So if you're looking for a particular skill, maybe that's a skill you can check out. It really is, how to get what you want out of AI, and you can learn every level of prompting. And once you have that skill, it'll really go well with your 9 to 5 jobs anywhere in the industry in the next 5 years. So that's one way to really stay relevant with your skills. Because if we don't do this in 5 years, I feel like all the skills will be irrelevant unless we add this
Exactly.
piece within our
Yeah.
skills, right? And another thing I think I can mention here is that the models that they've tested, right? It's 95% accuracy it's given us, the AI models. Now, what that means is there's a 5% error in any type of models. Bless you, Karen. There's a 5% error in any type of model for AI. Now, the skill becomes specialized. Let's say if you're an accountant, right? For an accountant, now they'll be given the work that's done, but 5% of it is an error in that entire thing. So the skill will be much more specialized for them to go find that 5% error inside that whole thing. So it's going to be a much specialized skill, and we would have to continue to upskill our skills. Um,
And just to add to that, Nabil, in addition to this 5% error, that, yeah, AI may be great. Let's say the 95% accuracy that they're generating. We still need someone to be able to implement whatever AI is generating. We need people to be able to implement these things, you see. So that's why we will always be needed to help out in the implementation piece of things.
Absolutely, it's huge. It's huge. And I think the last question we have for here, Karen, before we sign off, is how is career progression for Scrum Masters?
That's a beautiful question. And I think I already also created a content on that. It's on our
Congrats.
YouTube channel, but I'm just going to brush on that. So career progression, what I would say is that from from company standpoints, the truth is that most companies don't have that well defined yet. They don't,
Yeah.
because they're still transitioning into these things. They're still figuring out a lot of things. So the one video I made, I'm even urging agile practitioners to take it upon themselves as part of their responsibilities to partner with these companies, these organizations, to help them define these career progressions for Scrum Masters. But for now, what is available is there are people that only want to be Scrum Masters, which is amazing. Not everyone wants to be anything else. So with that, there's still an opportunity for you to progress. I've been in an organization where they have like 5 different levels of Scrum Mastering. They have Scrum Master 1 up to Scrum Master 5, and that comes with different responsibilities and different pay packages, So if you're that kind of person that just want to be a Scrum Master, that is the opportunity you have right there. Another thing that I've seen is you can progress to become an agile coach. You can also progress to become a release train engineer. You can become a product manager. That's also something you can become. Yeah, so those are the different areas. But one other thing that I've seen people say is that you can progress to becoming a project manager, but I don't think so. because rather project managers should be progressing in becoming Scrum Masters, not the other way around. So that's what I would say to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. It's been an amazing conversation. I've dropped comment for the YouTube channel for BeingAgile Consulting. If you guys can give her a like, subscribe, let's get her closer to 30,000 subs. I know she's, where are you, Karen, right now? 22K right now? Are you getting higher?
It's been a while. I've not checked that, but I think I should check. It's been a while. I've not checked that. By the way, we also have a backup channel, though. I think that's where I'm focused on. We have a backup channel, which is called BeingAgile Consulting Remix. So I would suggest it. I mean, we have great content. We put that there because that's our focus right now. We're looking to build that platform. So if you're not subscribed, you're missing out. Please make sure you do. And in addition to that, we just launched a coaching program, which is for Agile coaches, aspiring and practicing Agile coaches. If you're looking to become an Agile coach, or you're already an Agile coach, you're looking to be great at what you do, really add value, we have a fantastic coaching, and not a training though, even though we offer some level of training, but we have a fantastic coaching program to help you accomplish that dream. So you can also reach out to us, email, text, call us, and we can give you more information.
Awesome. Sounds perfect. I've dropped your link for the BeingAgile Consulting Remix page as well in the comments, guys. Go give it a like and subscribe. I'll be dropping further, channels for DigiTree Academy as well. If you guys can give that a like and subscribe as well, would be much appreciated. Any IT professionals that are, think that they're ready to start their own IT coaching and consulting business, again, review this conversation with Karen and I and get some feedback. And you can reach out to us through our LinkedIn page or my profile on LinkedIn, which I will throw a comment again on in the comments. Feel free to reach out to us, guys. Nabil Khan here at the DigiTree Academy. Karen from BeingAgile Consulting. Karen, any last words for our viewers before we sign off?
Yeah, sure. Yes, my take-home message for all our viewers today is that there is no better time to start. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. So get up today, stop procrastinating, take action. And action doesn't mean that you want to build a whole business overnight. No, take action by just making that first move, make that call, read the book, do something, but just take action. That's what I would say. And then secondly, also make sure especially for my people coming from my platform, please connect to DigiTree. They post so many great contents, having so many great shows. You would learn a lot on this platform for free. And if you're looking to set up a business, they are also the people to help you get started by creating that pipeline for you that you need to be successful. So don't hesitate to check them out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Karen. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. I'll catch you guys next time, and have a great day coming up and weekend, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.